It is party time. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. Sounds weird in here today. I don't know. It's like the echo in my own head or something. I can't really blame tequila, though, Brandon, because, I woke up this morning, Brandon, and I was sitting there going, and I said, buddy, I was like, I felt so good because I was like, I didn't drink anything yesterday. Didn't drink anything. No tequila. I was like, my liver thanks me, right?
I mean, that's usually how it works.
Yeah, but guess what? I started remembering yesterday. And I remembered I was on the News and Why It Matters with Sarah Gonzalez, and I drank tequila. That ain't coffee in that cup, Mark. That ain't coffee in that cup.
I think if you do it while working, that counts as just fulfilling your job duties.
It actually is when you're in the entertainment business, particularly in this, whatever you want to call this sort of journalism job we have here in the media.
Yeah, it's one of the perks.
I love throwing around big words. When you do stuff like that, like they actually expect you to be drunk. They don't expect you to talk about this shit sober.
I mean, everybody should be aware that that's just kind of how it operates because it makes all of news more interesting when you know they've had a few.
I mean, it's not like we're doing lines off of mirrors in the back anymore.
Not anymore.
Anyway, we're in the Mothership Studio 22. It is Wednesday Hump Day. We're going to hump day hump all day long. Thank you for joining us, whether it is by BlazeTV or podcast. Make sure you tell your friends to subscribe to BlazeTV, blazetv.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad and save on an annual subscription. Big news here, big news. And I wanted to bring in my buddy to talk about it. So we're going to spend a little time doing the Hump Day thing. My buddy Jesse Peyton, one of my partners in crime, comedian Jesse Peyton. Jesse, you're killing the game.
Doing good. It's been a good run. I'm just glad to add sort of media journalism to my bio now.
Yeah, sort of journalism.
I like it.
Big word media. Dude, so you and I met. We were just talking about it because the big news, by the way, is Jesse and I are going to do 3 shows together. They're just going to be absolutely raw. Now, a lot of people don't like that. When your people love it, my people, they don't know what to do with that.
They hesitate.
Yeah. But you have to tell people, if you're going to come to a show with me and Jesse, just put on your big panties.
That's it.
Buckle up.
We're going to have a good time, though.
Because Jesse's going to take you for a ride.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So it's going to be good. But we're doing, we've got a few things we're doing, but planned out over the next little while. But we're going to do December 30th in College Station.
At the Stampede.
The Stampede, which used to be another place, now it's called the Stampede.
Yep.
Is that the mall over there?
It is. It's the Post Oak Mall.
That bar and grill, that venue is connected to the mall over there.
It's
College
intense.
Station.
Yeah.
So that's December 30th. Then December 31st, New Year's Eve, we're going to Lake Jackson.
That's it, the wine review.
The wine review.
That's an awesome spot. It's only got 100 seats, though.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're doing all these smaller venues,
right?
And it's going to be in your face.
It is.
And then on the January 1st, we're going to be back in Canyon Lake,
That's where it started.
That's right. Sort of, kind of, because you and I, if you remember, you opened for us. You had just opened for Steve Trevino at the old Southerns in College Station. Then I think a week later, opened for me. And normally, if I've got an opener on stage, I just, I kind of hear it, and I was like, whoever's like, this dude's murdering that room. He's killing that game. Good. Like wearing it out. And I think I said right now, I was like, dude, you need to come open.
You did. And you were the first person to take me on the road. The funny thing is about that, and you probably don't remember this, but you were walking around the venue from the green room. You had come out while I was on stage, and it was right in the middle of a bit, and I didn't know what this Hurricane Chad Prather was about. And I'd never done a live show with you. And then you walked out of the green room, and right before I'm about to do the punchline for this long setup that I had, the whole room stops and looks over at you, and no one looked at me anymore. And I was like, well, that went to crap. So,
my bad.
No, it was good though.
The thing was, I was at a bad time in my life. This was a couple years ago. I was at a bad time in my life, and that was particularly a bad night. And so there was that was a bad night.
I've most of the staples in my career have been piggybacking the bad nights of guys ahead of me. So thank you for that.
So it was a particularly bad, and I had to pee. Now that particular green room doesn't have a bathroom.
That's right.
So I saw what happened with that deal, and so when I came back, what I started doing was I would take solo cups and I would step in the utility closet with the hot water heater and all that stuff, the air conditioning unit, and I would pee in the cups.
That's right.
And I would just leave the cups on top of the AC unit, and I'd be like, this will teach you to not have a bathroom in the green room.
And there's a lesson to you up-and-coming entertainers. If you reach a certain level of celebrity, you too can pee in solo cups in a broom closet at a venue in College Station attached to a mall.
It's big time. See, I like how you sold it at first, where you were like, dude, the whole route is Hurricane Chad Prather. And I was like, yeah, we were in a bar and grill attached to the mall.
Attached to the mall. Yeah, it's all the food court you can eat.
Yeah. People were literally bringing in a Chick-fil-A.
It was.
Yeah. But no, but I'm proud of you, man, because you've been killing it. And there's not a lot of people out there that hustle like you, because you hadn't been doing comedy for a long time.
Not very long.
Yeah. You had a career in the penal system. You had you had other things going on, which we won't talk about.
Yeah.
That. There were lots of stuff, but comedy, dude, it's taken off.
It has, and it really speaks volumes to the previous endeavors in which I partook, because when comedy is a stabilizing force in your life, you were pretty wayward.
But see, here's the thing, and this is what I don't know that a lot of people, as they get to know you, they realize this. You don't do any drugs. You don't drink alcohol. No. I mean, you were 100% pure clean in terms of what you put in your body.
100%, yeah.
What comes out of your mouth is a different story.
Oh, yeah, it's filth. It's absolute filth. It's entertaining. It's fun.
I said before we started taping, and you've been on the show before, but I said, don't say the P word, the C word, or the F word. Right. Usually I'm allowed one, and they bleep it out, but it just creates more work for the editors and the producers. And you said, so I'm just not going to say anything.
I'm just saying right here, I guess I'm a model for this show. Thank you. I guess. Don't know what I'm going to talk about.
But I'm excited. So you went out, because you reached out to me and you were like, let's go do these shows. I was like, book them. I'm free New Year's. Normally I'm doing shows New Year's. Nobody wants to work with me anymore.
Yeah.
Venues don't want me.
Oh, that's not true.
Ever since I ran for office, they don't want me. They're scared.
No, it's a different perspective. You were the first person to take me on the road. You told me that first night. You said the world needed to see me, and you gave me a shot, and we did really good. We did the Unapologetic tour, and now we're going to do an Unapologetic reunion. And I think this is just going to be. They're excited about it. All three venues. It's a buzz in all three of those cities.
So you've been going out and doing the something else. You've been doing this white trash comedy bash.
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
Do they have to beep that? Am I allowed to say the?
You can say white trash.
Can I say the W? I say the hard SH. I don't do the. It's crazy. I coined the phrase white trash comedy bash because me and a lot of the guys I tour with, it just fits the brand. It was unique. I was surprised that it wasn't even taken. So I bought whitetrashcomedybash.com. Check it out. The website's actually active. And I wanted to tour with it. My name isn't Chad Prather. I'm not selling a bunch of tickets because people don't know me, but the shows always do well when we get in the venue and they grow. So I just wanted a new seed to plant. I came up with that. And the day I posted it, we sold the first show out in Houston at the Secret Group. We sold 150 tickets on a Wednesday night. It was
Wednesday night.
And
so it was like first day of school.
First day of school, it was.
Because I came down there. Yeah. I saw it in my own eyes.
Which is, most people would think that's not a good day for comedy, but when you're white trash, you don't give a shit crap about the first day of school.
You don't care about them kids either.
know. So we sold it out. It went well. 4 of the cities bought it, Arlington, Dallas, and Little Rock. And then I got flagged the same day for posting, not saying white trash, not using it as derogatory or inflammatory, but they called it hate speech from the Eventbrite link that was the link in the comments, and they gave me a 30-day Facebook.
So, and I want people to understand, you're getting flagged and penalized for using the phrase white trash.
It's unbelievable,
and we both are. I mean,
it's where I came from. It's they want you to open up. They want you to be vulnerable. They want you to entertain, talk about your childhood, because that's the novelty of what most people don't know and they haven't heard.
Right.
And if you've seen me, when I grab and sit on the stool on stage, it's about to be a real vulnerable session. It's going to be funny, but it's about my past.
Yeah.
And then when I call it white trash, now it's hate speech, and I'm flagged for that. And I'm silenced. Literally, I'm silenced for that.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it.
Which rappers can say anything they want to say, but you can't ever. Because you texted me the other day and you said, look, I got a show coming up in like Arlington, Texas, and you got flagged and you got put in Facebook jail.
Right.
for doing it. You couldn't promote your own show.
And I lost the show.
You lost the show.
I had a $5,000 guarantee for the show, and the show wasn't selling because I couldn't promote the show on my social medias. I was flagged on every one of them for that. Yeah. My videos used to get 3, 4, 5 million views, and then they were getting 700.
Yeah. Yeah, because you reached out to me and you said, can you share the, and I did, but it's like, at that point in time, it's too late. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So, by the way, I'll be in Arlington, Texas, December 21st, Arlington Music Hall.
It was a beautiful place.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. Yeah. We go there every year. It's a good place. The nature of comedy, though, and people do get offended, because I hear it all the time. People get offended by me. If you're offended by me, we got a problem. I mean, that's a whole other deal.
Yeah.
Right? What's going on? I mean, is there hope for this? Have you ever sat around, because you're always hustling, you're always out to trying to get the crowd, trying to write the next joke. Do you ever even think about
the future?
No, do you ever even think about like how a crowd's going to respond, or you just like, screw it, I'm going at them?
Both. With your crowds, I know a demographic. Again, you've told me before every show. I'm like, you told me before this show, don't say, CP and F. And I'm like, cool. It's an easy instruction. You told me before road shows, you told me the same thing every time. You said, you're a pro, read the room. And I'm good at that. And and I can, if you get a little, you know how to toe the line. You don't walk in and start with an abortion joke first pitch. You save that for, high leverage situations. But you feel it out. Once you become likable, you can get away with saying a lot more. And you're very likable as well. So
I'm very likable. But in my mind, in terms of the way my humor works, there's nothing off limits.
Same.
And I know there's nothing off limits with you, at least because I don't sit around going, oh, that offends me.
What gets me is why comedy is under the indictment of, he said that, so he believes that. I wrote this shit. Excuse my language, I made this stuff. It just gets me agitated. I made this stuff up. Why are we held to a standard that is supposed to represent our values and belief system when Leonardo DiCaprio can play a slave master in the movie Django and say the N-word egregiously, but we're like, oh, that's fiction. This is entertainment. Well, what I do is entertainment also, but because I make a joke that's off color or I say white trash, now I'm flagged for that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's been my world since 2015 or 16. And what I've always noticed, for instance, is if you do a video that goes viral, all right, I always recognized that the hate would start coming in. People offended, people pissed off. Who's this guy? Why is he wearing a cowboy hat? Blah, blah, blah. All of the nonsense that would come in there. Usually when a video hit about 750,000 views. At that point in time, it started reaching people outside of your realm of influence, right? So you were new to them. And they didn't know what to do. It started to attract the trolls. So the bigger you get, the more that's going to be magnified. The bigger the audience is, the more chance there is for somebody to be offended. And it's funny because people say, oh, hey, you want these bigger crowds, Sometimes no, you don't. Like being able to go out and do a room like we're talking about at New Year's and do 100 to 300 people in a room. That's going to be fun in its own regard because like those people know what they're getting. They know what they're coming for. Right. It's no holds barred. We're there to laugh. And I keep saying, you ought to be offended when you go to church. You ought to be offended when you go to a comedy show. Those are the two places that ought to get in on you. You're right. If not, then they're not saying the right things.
True.
So that uncomfortable part, that's part of comedy. But people, they've lost all that whole deal. I had somebody that said, recently they commented on the deal. They said, is he just going to be gutter talk when he gets on stage? And another person right after that said, is he just going to talk about politics? Here comes a bleep, Brandon. And I said, Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So I gave him gutter talking politics all at once, right? Yeah. So it's like, the whole thing is like, if you push me like that, I'm probably going to push back. And I wish I wasn't like that.
No, I like that you're like that. And this is what you and Steve Trevino gave me the same advice my very first year touring. You said you don't have to go and try to be universally funny to everybody. Right. You can find your own demo. That's why doing 100 people who like us and like our style of comedy will come and not get offended because that's what they came there for. And outside of that, like you called it, it's funny, your realm is 750,000, mine's 100. So once I get 101, 110, I'm toast. But you do open the door for that. But in 1 month, I opened for Zach Rushing, a very conservative orator. I opened for Eddie Griffin, who is obviously one of the funniest black comics ever. And I opened for Chingo Bling, a Hispanic right-wing comedian also. So I do cast pretty big nets sometimes, but I know where my fan base is.
Hey, pull up that Chamonix deal. It's not on the thing. We're going to go to a break, but I want to talk more about Steve Trevino, actually, who's killing it right now.
As hot as there is.
And, I mean, just blowing it up, and couldn't happen to a better person. You see what I'm looking at, Brandon, on this thing? I could probably do it from memory, but I don't want to mess it up. You ever use Chamonix? We'll give them a good ad right here.
Yeah.
Chamonix, you put that stuff on your face.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think I look so young?
I was wondering that.
Dude, why do you look at me? This ain't makeup. Look at this. This is a 50-year-old face right here.
What?
How many 50-year-olds you know look like this?
Not a lot.
Straight up sexy. Straight up sexy. You got it, Brandon? Is it working? Maybe? No? Maybe. See, what they did was they started changing around our ads and our reads and stuff, and so now we can't get it all done. Let's talk about Steve Trevino. Let's go long on this thing while they get that thing worked out. There it is right there. I like it when people can see behind the fourth wall. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
break it down.
Any errors are Chris's fault.
It's Chris's fault. Yeah. And Chris is on a plane to Israel right now.
He's going to the homeland.
Yeah. He's Puerto Rican, but he's going to the homeland. Just Israel.
Yeah.
And we're going to be without Chris for the next, 2 weeks or something like that. Chris, I saw him out there, and he said, "Oh, bro, I got to drive to Houston, get on a plane." Let's get the hell out of here. So anyway, this stuff right here, Chamonix, you talk about putting the stuff on your face. Here's one that's even better. You want to lose a couple of pounds, 5, 10, 20 pounds even. Do it safely, naturally, without any of the jittery side effects, because sometimes you take that stuff and you feel like it's all cracky or whatever. No, not with this. Nusu Labs weight control formula. It's a super antioxidant formula that's helped thousands lose weight for good. And we got Kat from Columbia, North Carolina, raving about her results, said lost over 30 pounds with Nusu and kept it off. It helped me curb my appetite and improve my workout routine. Fantastic product. Highly recommend. So I want you to get the look that you've always wanted and get it, because Nusu's breakthrough weight control formula is incredible. You order right now. Try the brand new formula, absolutely risk-free. You look in the mirror. You feel confident about how you look without the jitters and the side effects. And if it doesn't work for you, then you don't pay. Go to nusulabs.com/Chad. That's NUSULABS, nusulabs.com/Chad. Enter code CHAD20. You'll get an extra 20% off during the summer sales event. Get a free month supply when you order. Limited supply right now, so got to order it quick. Go to nusulabs.com/Chad. We'll be right back. Steve Trevino, our buddy Steve Trevino, Texas comic. He's nationally known at this point. He's killing it. He's had a few Netflix specials, or
4.
Not just Netflix, but like Prime
Comedy
and all
Central,
that stuff.
Hulu, Amazon Prime.
He's killing it, dude. Mm-hmm. And Steve's a buddy. He funny story, man. Party Foul Steve Powell texted me the other night. He said, "Hey, we're going to see Steve Trevino at Orlando at the Improv." And I was like, "Good, man." Tell him I said, "Hey," and he's like, "Well, text him and tell him I'm coming." I was like, "No." He said, "Text him and tell him I'm coming." I was like, "Why?" And he goes, "Tell him your tour manager is in the house." I'm like, You're not my tour manager." And so he goes, "Tell him." And I'm giving Steve a hard time, Powell a hard time, because I know what he wants.
Right.
He wants Trevino, like at some point in time, Trevino's going to give him a shout out from the stage or something like that. I'm like, bro, he's a pro. He's not there to shout out your long-haired hippie ass. And so I said, just go up and say hey to him after the damn show.
Yeah.
He's like, "Man, tell him I'm going to come." No. The man's going to work. I'm not going to distract this dude with give a shout out to Steve Powell.
That's awesome.
And Mark, you'll appreciate this. Steve Powell texted me the other day, and he said, "Man, it didn't take me long to get recognized in Florida." He said, somebody told me that the show's not the same since I'm not on it." I was like, "Did you ask them why they don't watch your show?" I love busting that kid's balls, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Anyway, So anyway, he went up and saw Trevino afterwards, and Steve actually said, hated me and you both. And so, but Trevino's killing it. And you talk about advice. Like years ago, when I was trying to figure out how to, what is an agent, what do agents do, how do you handle them? Because you just hear that they're snakes, right? And they're just out to get you. And boy, me and Steve were in Tampa, Florida together. I was doing side splitters on one side of town. He was doing the improv on the other side of town. We did the same 2 nights. So when he'd get done, he'd come over and see us and hang out. And then during the day, me and him go ride jet skis and stuff and just sit around talking. So, man, that dude gave me tons of business advice.
The best.
I mean, and so he'd show pictures, and this one guy, we were out there riding jet skis, and this guy's out there, and Steve's looking at pictures. He's like, man, you tell Steve, he's like, your wife's hot. It's like, because he always talks about Captain Evil, stuff like that. And she's the sweetest person on the planet. Dude. Oh my God, she's just a sweetheart. Yeah. I mean, to us, I don't know how she is to Steve actually, but he goes, how'd you get a girl like that? Because Steve's like 5'5", right? And he goes, I'm rich as I'm like, hey, there's truth, baby. There's truth. But no, he's killing it, dude. And when I see guys like that, and I see this, I bring this all up because I see this happening to you, Jesse. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass because I don't. I see this happening with you, right? Because you went, let me give you some folks, for instance. You live down in Houston. You got in a car yesterday, drove up here to Dallas. You didn't come up here to do this show. You just happened to be in town. And you went to 2 middle of nowhere open mic nights last night.
I did.
Got on stage, did great at one of them, went to the next one. What happened?
All right.
Tell the story. Now listen, you think this is all fun and games and stuff. Jesse goes to 2 open mics last night on a Monday or on a Tuesday. And just tell the story.
So it's funny you started this with Steve Trevino. Steve called me last week and was like, hey, same thing you said. You're growing. Keep doing it. Start going to open mics. Punch up some new stuff. Yeah. Work on some more personal stuff. So I was like, great. I'm going to go out of town where no one knows me. And then and also
at an open mic, people don't realize you're getting on stage in front of other comedians
that don't want to laugh at you.
They're worried about their own stuff.
Exactly.
They're not an audience.
Their faces are in their notepads. So I go to Comedy Arena with George Red Speaks, Dallas local guy up here, killing it. Do great. The comics love me. It was awesome. Punched up some new jokes. It was good. They went over really well. I was like, I want to go try a worse mic where there's less people. So I go to Hat Tricks in Louisville, and I pull in, and I was the only white person in the whole venue, and which is great. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be the anomaly there. I wanted to go up. There were 4 people listening, and 2 were comics. And the guy goes up, and I'm next in line, and a guy goes on stage, and then we start hearing some commotion. Before I leave there, George warns me. He's like, hey, be careful. If you go to Hat Tricks, you need a pistol. I'm like, I don't need a pistol. I could fight. And he was like, well, you might need it. I'm like, ha, ha, ha. What do you mean? And he was like, so I get over there, and he was absolutely right. There was just commotion going on. I look behind me, and 2 guys are going off, arguing with each other, and then one pulled a gun out, and then the other one pulled a gun out, and I'm like, is this real life? And I was like, I came here because I got this really new awesome TikTok joke I've been working on, and now I'm fighting for my life. I literally dive behind the other side of the bar, and I go hiding, and because I'm brave, and so it's. Yeah, and then it just commotion, and then everybody just scatters and flees with like roaches when you turn the lights on, and I was one of them. And we ran out, and then I text you. I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
You sent me the video of.
I tried to video it, and then I'm like, I'm the only white dude in here. I'm like, I feel like they're not gonna appreciate that I'm doing this for World Star. They're gonna think that I'm doing this for like Crime Stoppers, and like this is an undercover, and we're gonna shoot the white dude and his phone, and then I ended up just you saw how the video ended abruptly. I just ran out of there, and follow my TikTok. You might see the video on there.
But I mean, you don't think I'm gonna go practice some comedy material?
Jokes.
I'm gonna go out here,
Steve Trevino,
and there's gonna be gunplay. Steve Trevino. Make sure you hit up some open mics.
Yeah, go hit up some open mics. He was like, he even said that too. He told me, he was like, hit the ones that are hard, hit the ghetto ones where they don't want to like you, where you have to work extra hard. He's like, if you do well there, you'll do well. He's like, it's easy to do well in front of Chad's crowds with 500 people.
Yeah, but they came to laugh. They came to have a good time. Now, I like, for instance, you asked me one time, Israel and it was opening for Polar Bear, and you were emceeing that night over at
Arlington
the
Improv.
Arlington Improv. Yeah. And you're like, hey, come get on stage. You do 10 minutes. And I was like, this is going to be a challenge for me.
And you murdered.
Well,
and you killed.
I went into a room full of Hispanics.
Right.
And I'm like, okay.
He's like, have you guys heard about the border crisis? And I'm like, Chad, no.
But I'm like, it was a good crowd. I mean, it was packed out. Polar Bear was killing it.
But you killed. Israel killed. Yeah, it was awesome.
And Israel, which I had never seen Israel do anything. That dude, if y'all aren't following One Bad Comic on Instagram, go follow him. But, you go into a place like that and you're like, this is not my crowd. Now let's see if this is funny.
Right.
So we're going to do something. If Mike Kelly would get off his ass, we're going to do something where I was on a plane, I was landing, and I texted Jesse, I said, you know what, let's go out and do something. I thought of different guys like Chingo Bling or whatever.
Yeah.
And you said, no, let's do this. Let's grab Dustin Sims and Zach Rushing.
Yep.
And a lot of people follow those guys on social media. Funny dudes. And Zach, just real. Just in your face with stuff.
Man.
And he's 6'5", so he can say whatever he wants to say.
Yeah, and the thing with Zach is the type of guy where he's the everyman. He's with everybody. He doesn't have any special talents. He's not he doesn't sing, dance. He doesn't have this amazing comedy writing style. He just talks, but he's so real and so likable that his following is awesome. And this is something you don't even know about Zach yet, but we just did a show, and he's like you. He's like, just go do as much time, have a good time, warm them up. Well, I go do me. I'll take advantage of that. I like to go long. Yeah. And I did 45 or 50 minutes. And then he goes up there. He did an hour and 45 minutes solo after I did an hour and never lost a crowd. Unbelievable.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking about going out first of the year, 2023, maybe around March or so, and doing, maybe half a dozen shows all over the country, the four of us together.
Yeah, I think we got 2 cities booked. Houston in February, right after the Super Bowl at District 249. And then I think we're going to do Phoenix. I talk to Kelly pretty regularly, Mike Kelly, our agent. And I think that's what's going to happen. But me, you, Zach Rushing, and Dustin Sims, 30 minutes each, that's a show.
Yeah, it's bite-sized comedy, 2-hour show. You come in there and do 30, 30, 30, 30 like that. You'll do 40, but...
Yeah, you know what I mean?
How it is. You'll cheat and grab extra.
I'm going first.
10.
I can't go. It doesn't matter. Zach goes last, so he'll be able to handle
it. Exactly.
So,
And I told him, I said, look, I don't want a headline. I don't want nothing. Let Zach headline the whole thing. I said, but it'll be just everybody's got a bite-sized chunk. And, I did that years ago with Brian Hayner and Michael Loftus and Reno Collier, where everybody takes 30 minutes or whatever, and it's a home run derby. You just go in there and people are just tossing you softballs, just bam.
It's 4 headliners.
Yeah.
So you don't have to wait through 3 acts of a host, a guest, and a feature to get to a headliner doing 45 minutes. You've got 4 bona fide headliners doing 30 minutes. And when Zach takes an hour and 40 minutes, condenses it down to 30. Yeah. You take a 2 hour, 3 hours of material. You got condensed. We're just giving them the highlight reel. So you get the Cliff Notes home run derby, like you said, and it's 2 hours of just heat. Yeah. It's going to be a great show.
So I want people to stay tuned on that, and I'll get you some more details. Did we ever come up with a name for that thing?
I think we're going to do the Buck Wild Comedy Tour.
Buck Wild.
Yeah, I like it. I like it too.
I don't think that's going to get banned.
No. That's it.
And the after party's going to get buck wild, too.
It is.
What
That's
up?
It.
What up? Somebody stop me. Somebody stop me.
Burn, burn, burn.
It's going to be off.
Man, I might put some Crystal Light in my water. We're going to party up, baby.
Gonna get down with it.
It's going down.
You're going to get down with it. Hang on tight. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hey, a little break from the conversation. It's that point in the show where I like to wax eloquent. I want you guys to join me as we do just a few mental gymnastics. In fact, let's call it the Mental Gymnastics Olympics, okay? Because today I want to bring before you what I consider an astounding feat of cognitive dissonance. It's a flight of fancy into the fern-studded forest of forsworn reason, a real WTFer, folks. Miami, Florida. It's a blue city and a red state. Home of the Dolphins, home of Florida Man, home of Tony Montana. That's Scarface, man. And now, home of the number one most stupid gun buyback plan I've ever seen. I mean, in all of the dumb gun buyback plans out there, this one takes the cake. Now, here's the plan. Come and sell us back your guns. We'll give you a terrible price for them. And then, here's the real deal, okay? Here's the icing on the cake. We're going to ship those guns that we buy back from you to Ukraine. That's right, folks. Part of the delivery of a hot and fresh lead sandwich to Putin's doorstep can now come courtesy of a willfully disarmed citizenry of the United States. Now, if that makes about as much sense to you as sticking a finger in a mousetrap, well, you've probably got your head screwed on straight, because the reality is it's a dumb idea. First of all, the city of Miami is giving out gift cards, not cold hard cash, in the amounts of $50 all the way up to $150. That's $150 for your gun in a gift card form. I mean, that's barely going to buy ammo for some of my guns, but I guarantee you a bunch of knuckleheads are going to be lining up to sell off their freedom. Always happens that way. Always does. You know what? You know who won't be in that line of rerees? The criminals. That's right. They're not going to sell their stuff because they can get $150 with their gun instead of for it. And it'll be a gift that just keeps on giving, folks. They can do it day in and day out, all day and night. Now, the city of Miami actually had the audacity to refer to this as, quote, doing your part to make our streets safer. And look, surely the piece de resistance is that while you, the American citizen with freedoms and family to protect, while you don't really need that smelly old gun, the folks in one corrupt country fighting the folks in another corrupt country surely do. And could they please have them? These people are out of the damn minds. Now, I mean, absolutely insane. So look here, dipshit. Do you know what Ukraine is fighting right now? They're fighting tyranny. That's right. The same thing you clearly don't think we need to be worrying about around America. That's what the Ukrainians are lining up in their sights every day. Tyranny. So listen, if you're the type of person who values your guns and the freedom they help protect so little that you're willing to give them up for a measly little $150 gift card, then be my guest, I suppose. It's a free country for now anyway, and you have the right to participate in the market in whatever manner you see fit, but don't come crying to me or any of us out there speaking common sense when the mean man who actually kept his gun comes along and asks you to please remove your wallet post haste. And the same goes for tyrannical forces, either domestic or foreign, showing up on your doorstep. You opted out, so now you get to deal with that. Now, I don't know if you can whack them over the head with a broom and get them to go away. It might work, might not. Anyway, I think next time I'm in Miami, I'll go to the city officials and see if I can get me a gift card for, maybe 2 of them. When they ask me where the guns are that I'm selling, I just tell them I have to fish them out of the lake. I sometimes visit. Who knows? The government employees, they're dumb. If they're going to come up with this kind of idea, they're dumb enough that it just might work. Them dudes last night in Louisville weren't selling their guns.
Good Lord. No, not at all.
Go sell your gun to the government so they can ship it to the Ukraine.
Jeez.
All right. Here's something. Here's a funny. The headlines are funny to me, dude. The Army, they get people, people aren't qualifying for like their PT and stuff like that. Their physical or academic capabilities are not passing. So the Army's now, because the recruiting's way down for the military, they're not meeting their goals. So now they got a remedial program. This is scary stuff, dude. Man. We're screwed. They got a remedial program. Fat ass can't do some push-ups or sit-ups.
Since you did the D-League?
Yeah. We're gonna give you like Army minor leagues. You can do girl push-ups. Get on your knees. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what's happening. Dating trends shift due to economy and COVID. So I don't know what dating trends are, how you measure those, but it says couples or singles are opting for cheaper and more intentional dates. You ever had an intentional date?
Yeah, they're about $150.
I'm intended to do some things at the end of it.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest changes in the relationship is the relationship between dating and alcohol. A recent survey found that over a third of the people using the dating app Hinge, you on Hinge? No. I ain't never heard of it. Mm-mm. They're more willing to go on a sober date now than a year before. It's especially apparent among young people using the app, with 31% of 18 to 24-year-olds using Hinge saying they don't drink on their dates. Tinder says basically the same thing, that references to sober went up 26%. Another aspect of the shift of the state of the economy, I mean, no kidding. So now people are going to the beach or on a picnic. It's so, you ever gone on a picnic?
No, I'm just trying to figure out how they're promoting sober dates for 18 to 24. Like, it's a sober date when you're 18
When you're
anyway.
18 to 21. When you're 18 to 20, it's a sober date.
Holy crap.
Money is also impacting the type of people users are finding attractive. OkCupid users who say they stick to a budget got 16% more matches and 7% more likes over 3 months. I don't want to be on a dating app, dude. If I got to do math,
yeah,
I don't want to be on a dating app.
I don't think I want the girl who's like, yeah, have you met my boyfriend? He's budget conscious. Yeah, she sounds like
I'm gonna list that.
She sounds like she's fun at parties.
Start listing that in the profile. I'm budget conscious. I identify as he, her.
Yeah. Oh, that means he's 5'8".
He's 5'8", but he drives a Ferrari. Half of millennials can't afford to rent a 1-bedroom apartment in California's biggest cities. Yeah, no kidding. People can't put gas in their car, much less that, especially in California. You see where Ozzy Osbourne said he's leaving California? He's like done. He said this place is effing ridiculous. He's going back to England. This is a dude whose body chemistry is 99% substance, who bit the head off of an animal on stage, who prays to Satan.
Good Lord.
He calls himself the Prince of Darkness, who gets on stage, he goes, "Oh, Sharon," and we're effing ridiculous.
Well, that's how you knew COVID wasn't quite as deadly, because it didn't kill him, and his immune system can't have anything left at this point.
Bro, those guys are embalmed. People like him and Keith Richards, Richards, bro, they are pickled. I mean, you might as well soak them in a formaldehyde, man. They're like Ted Williams' head in a jar, bro. I mean, like, them guys ain't going nowhere. They'll live forever. I'm telling you.
He's got enough residual cocaine.
They're even flame retardant.
He's got enough residual cocaine to keep him animated.
Yeah. I mean, good God, I get a contact high. I wonder what the street value of his, like, a fingernail is off that dude. Can you imagine?
Man.
You could grind up Ozzy and sell him. No telling what that dude's cut with. But seriously, man, Ozzy Osbourne says he's getting out. Here's the deal. He's been living in California. You know, if you go to about 40 other states, Ozzy, you might find some normalcy out there. But I don't know, what does Ozzy Osbourne find freaking normal?
I have no idea.
Good God, man. So, no, you can't afford rent in California. Which, again, Britain is 3 times more expensive than it is here in the U.S., and we see how bad things are now. Did you watch the Aaron Rodgers is base, dude? Did you see any of those clips? He did the deal with Joe Rogan the other day.
Nuh-uh.
Watch some of those clips, man. And if you got it, we got time to play it right quick. Let her go.
And then we're going to virtue signal to say, look how righteous our league is. We have 95% compliance with the vaccine.
Compliance.
And if you don't, we're going to send a stooge to your team to show you graphs of your vaccination percentage of your team compared to the rest of the league, which actually happened.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the stooge like?
Oh, I mopped the floor with him.
Did you?
Yeah. See, again, that's why people are like, no one knew your vaccination status. You lied to your teammates. No. Day 3 of training camp, they sent this stooge in, and he showed these slides about what your vaccination percentage was in your team, where you compare to the rest of the league. And I started asking him questions about liability. Oh, I'm not a lawyer. Okay, cool. But you're in here talking about all these different things, and you don't talk about anybody's personal health issues. There's 0 exemptions. You took out religious exemptions. You took out PEG exemptions. You took out anybody's ability to have an opinion. No, I don't want to do this.
That dude. He's right. I mean, listen, at this stage in the game, the CDC ought to just put an asterisk by every one of their updates and down at the bottom add my name to it and be like, he said this 3 years ago, at this point. So anyway, good on him. And then Joe Rogan dropped the bomb where he said, well, if you want to change things, vote Republican. Wow. I mean, that's where we're at this stage. Even guys who aren't Republicans are saying, just vote for Republicans. One more segment. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Yeah, let's see here. I'm looking at this thing. I'm at Southern Star Brewing in Conroe Saturday night. That's with the Ragamuffins doing music. And
great venue. I performed there.
It's a cool spot.
Times. It's a very cool
I've never performed there, but I've drank beer there.
Yeah. I've done benefits there. I used to do benefits for biker rallies and stuff.
It's a cool spot.
Cool crowds, too.
Then on the 9th, we're going to Granbury, and then on the 10th in Waco. Those are going to be music shows as well. And then, but I've got some comedy stuff coming up. Like I told you, the campaign stuff and doing all that, I just did not feel like trying to go be funny.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like it. And plus, if you're not out there doing it, dude, you lose your touch. I mean, you lose your timing and the whole thing.
Well, crowds can pick up on the nuance of what you're dealing with. And if you have pain in your eyes and frustration, and I'm your friend, I talk to you every day. Like, I knew the stuff you were being exposed to, and you were so, eye-opening and in shock of what the political realm actually was behind the scenes, that you weren't funny as a friend.
No.
Sorry, I like you, but
I was not a happy dude, man.
Yeah, my phone was being Chad. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I lost some very close people in my life over just being like, dude. And I was telling somebody the other day, I said, if you're not carrying that weight on your shoulders, that conviction of what you're doing, you just ain't gonna get it. You ain't gonna get it. But I didn't feel like being funny, but went out and did some shows. I guess it was about 2 months ago. I did a show, and I was like, you know what? This feels good. It's like putting on an old suit, and it's like, boom, there, you're back into it. So, yeah, I've been playing around with a lot of new stuff, and I tried some stuff a couple weeks ago at a show that just did not work. There's potential there. You know how sometimes you go out and you could tell a story like around the dinner table?
Yeah.
And people are just dying.
Right.
You get on stage, it's like, yeah, it don't work.
It doesn't work, yeah.
It doesn't work.
It's a different animal to be funny. I always call it water cooler funny.
Yeah.
Like, I get, after shows, we get lines of people like, oh, you should meet Joe at my job. Joe is hilarious. I'm like, being funny at your company picnic is not the same thing as being on stage and being an entertainer.
Yeah.
So you can get a false reality with
But see,
things
you are not scared to step into those things. Like, somebody hired you recently to come do a pool birthday party.
Wow. You know what's funny about that night is it was a white trash birthday comedy party, and it was all themed. Everybody was wearing, white trash garb. Some people weren't even dressed up, but they fit the profile.
Just dressed normally.
And I performed in a Hawaiian outfit, barefooted, poolside, in front of 40 people at 3 p.m. on a Saturday. That night, after the show, I dove in the pool, went upstairs, showered, left there, and did 2 sold-out shows opening for Eddie Griffin at the Houston Improv. And I'm going to tell you this, that birthday party with those people was just so much more fun. Both shows went great. All 3 shows went great. But that was a different animal, and you just get to like unzip that mask of what you have to present to everybody. You can just be raw in who you are, and the God, I call it God mode in comedy, where they start laughing at your setups before you get to the punchline. They're already laughing, and that's what it was like.
I can remember, and even talking about that. I mean, Tyson Pfeiffer, my buddy, he's always talking about. He talks about the places where he's gone and done stuff, and he's another one like you. He'll go anywhere.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've done biker bars. He said, I've done the pool parties where people are like, you could only see like this much of their head sticking out of the pool.
Yeah, that was an applause break.
Laughing underwater.
Yeah.
It's so, I'm like, but then you get on stage sometimes, and I can remember those stages. Because again, when I'm doing theaters, it's different from a club because, the lights are on you, and basically it's a black deal. Like, you had to make that adjustment.
It's an abyss.
Because you were doing comedy clubs where the feedback is immediate. They're right there. Then you're doing the stage. And man, when you're just killing it and you get on that stage and that roar of laughter and stuff is coming back, you're like, I am in control of this. And there's no better feeling than that.
The first theater you took me, Franklin, Tennessee, right after COVID, it was the very first show that city did post-lockdown. And John Rich closed the show for us that night. Yeah. And I cried walking off. They gave me a standing ovation, 700 people. And I cried walking off stage, handing you the mic. You were like, it was just disbelief. And that control and that adulation that you get immediately, it's indescribable. Yeah. It's indescribable.
It was so funny because you mentioned John Rich, because we did the show and we came off stage and John was backstage. He had stayed in the green room the whole time talking like John does. Yeah. And then I'm like, John's here. John, go get on stage, man. Well, he gets up there, grabs his guitar, and he starts preaching. And I was like, obviously he has not heard the rest of the show.
Yeah.
He certainly didn't hear Jesse.
That was, I told you after the show, I was like, this is the first show I've ever done where I open with a really amazing oral sex
Dick
joke.
Yeah.
And then the night ends with the call to the altar. I've never had that. I was like, I feel like, it was the funniest part was, the funniest thing said that whole night was very subtle. And I don't know if you heard it.
I heard it.
So
I know exactly what you're going to say.
I was at the merch table. We were doing some photos and autographs. John was still up there going, and people wanted to hear him sing, but he was preaching, and so he does his preaching, and somebody shouts out, "Preach!" and another guy stands up and goes, "Sing!" I was like, they have spoken.
It was like, land the plane, Johnny. Land the plane.
He went, so I did 45. You did an hour, and then he goes up there as like, what was supposed to be a 10-minute encore, I assume, and did another hour. And it was just exhaustion.
Like we had people there. It was Franklin, Tennessee. Chris Bates was there.
Yeah.
And got him on stage. He sang a couple songs. Awesome. And, he did 2 or 3 songs. But he gets John up there, and John preaches all this stuff. And he's like, he took us to the lion's den. He took us to the mountaintop. He got us on the ark.
I was in the belly of the whale.
He had us in the tomb. And then all of a sudden, he's like, what do y'all want to hear? Save a horse, ride a cowboy. I'm like, yeah. I was like, well, here we go.
Who's Job?
I'm afflicted with his sufferings.
I lost my Job because I'm non-essential. Jeez. It was so funny.
Oh, God. That was a funny night, dude. We need to do that one again.
That was a good one.
Hey, y'all hang tight. We'll be right back. All right, Jesse Payton's got a lot of shows coming up as well. You need to go see him. Come see both of us, but check him out on the road because he's crisscrossing the country right now and having a good time doing it. What's your website?
JesseIsFunny.com is the website. Also, whitetrashcomedybash.com or WTCB.us.
Look at all that.
It's a lot.
At Jesse is Funny. And as you see it right there, there's no I in Jesse. So Jesse is Funny. Follow him on Twitter. Follow him on Instagram.
TikTok. I'm blowing up on TikTok.
Yeah, you are. You're all over on TikTok. Yeah. And that's another good thing you're doing is you've got that constant content coming out that I've gotten too lazy to do because
you're doing this. You're busy.
Well.
Good problems to have. I'd rather be here than doing jumping jacks in my living room on TikTok.
It's good stuff, though. It's good stuff. WatchChad.com will have all the dates we're doing as we get the ticket links for them. So go to WatchChad.com where all the fun stuff is. Come see me in Conroe Saturday night at Southern Star. I'll bring the boys with me. We'll play some music and it'll be a good time. Our buddy Jody Bartula, who's the fiddle player actually for Cody Johnson, his band, the Barflies, they're going to be there as well. So come hang out with us. It's going to be a good time. And don't forget, subscribe to Blaze. We will be back. Get off the rails tomorrow night. Love you. God bless you. Talk to you then. Bye.